That is none of your business, so don't be nosy. Hello, welcome back to my channel. My name is Peter. This is Peter Fiction, the place where we did not have the brains for literary fiction. Welcome back to another week, another video. I know it's been a while and it's weird doing it again, but I'll get used to it. If you have noticed, I have been absent for the last couple of months and now I'm back. So you have that to deal with. I had a rough couple of months and I didn't feel like I was in a place where I would be creative to make content for YouTube, and I didn't want to force myself into making videos that would end up not being as fun as I would want them to be. I wanted this to be something I did for myself, something where I would have fun and not pressure myself into doing it for the sake of doing it. So this is why I decided to take a break and just come back whenever I felt like filming another video, and I think I am in the right headspace to do it now. So yeah, a round of applause. So basically what I had to deal with was I had my finals for my master's. I'm currently in my last semester of my master's in assisted reproduction techniques. I had my last finals in the end of July, and now all that's left is the dissertation, which does not put much pressure on me because I have till February to finish it, so it's okay. And I also had a lot of personal stuff going on in my life that put even more stress on me, and this is why I didn't feel like doing anything creative. I'm not sure how creativity works for you, but if I am feeling stressed, if I am feeling overwhelmed with life, I do not feel like I can act on my creativity. When I feel overwhelmed, I can't do anything. Like if I have to study for my finals, I cannot think of reading a book or writing something or anything. For example, I didn't have time to go out with my friends and have dinner. I didn't have time to go visit my parents. I didn't have time to go snorkeling. I didn't have time to look up what snorkeling is. So you know what I mean. Now that everything is over, now that I'm feeling a bit better, I will catch you up on what you have missed on my reading and writing life. So let's start with all the books I have read since April, which is when I posted my last video. So let's go. So the first book that I will be talking about is The Book That Wouldn't Burn by Mark Lawrence. This is one of the books that I wanted to read the most this year, and I'm really glad I did, because not only did it seem interesting before picking it up, but as a concept it is very close to a story that I want to write in the future. So yes, this takes place in a very mysterious library, and we follow two different characters: a boy who has been trapped inside the library for many years, and we have a girl who goes to be trained to be a librarian, and she encounters the boy and stuff happened from there. I don't want to share many details, so you have to go in without knowing much, as I did, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. This was very slow at first, but things started picking up, and it was very unexpected, the turn that it took in the end. I enjoyed it and I highly recommend it. In August, I am planning on reading the two other books of the trilogy, so I will let you know what I think about them. Hopefully I will love them as much as this one. I gave this a 4 out of 5 stars on Goodreads. Next up, I read The Will of the Many by James Islington. If you remember, I mentioned this book in the video where I talked about all the books that I think I'm gonna love this year, and boy, was I wrong. It's not that I hated this book, I just felt like the magic system was not fleshed out enough. I felt like the main character was so full of himself, like he thought he was the best at everything, and he didn't do much to prove it. He just said he was, and I was supposed to believe it. And he went to this academy to be trained and to be a spy for another person, and he just tried to climb the ladder of the hierarchy to become one of the top students, and the trials that he had to go through to become one of the top students were not that hard. And it was unbelievable how easy this all seemed to the main characters. I didn't really love James Islington's writing style because he is very tell and not show. So yeah, I was excited for the second book that comes out in November, I think, but not right now. I'm not that excited. Like maybe I will read it at some point, but it will not be a priority for me at the moment. I have many more books to read, and this is not one that I'm very excited about. So yeah. Next up, I have two books from the same author, which is my favorite author of all time, Frida McFadden. And Frida, you need to stop. Like, I want to make a video called Frida McFadden Needs to Stop. And these were The Death Row and The Tenant. What do I say about these books? Frida done did it again. She is a mastermind. Death Row was ridiculous. Like, I don't even want to share anything about the Death Row because you need to experience it. You need to experience how not to write a story. I'm sorry to all the Frida McFadden hardcore fans. I'm sure you are a couple there. But Death Row should not exist. It was very, very bad, and I'm a sucker for a book that is intentionally bad. I'm not sure if that was the goal there, but the Death Row was not it. And on the other hand, The Tenant, it was fun. I'm not gonna lie. It was basically a couple, and the man loses his job, and in order for them to be able to afford the mortgage for their new home, they have to have a tenant, and weird things start happening to the house when the tenant arrives. But like I said before, if you have read at least two Frida McFadden books, you can pretty much guess what the plot twist is going to be because she follows the same recipe in every single one of her books. Every time she focuses on one character and she hints that they will gonna be the bad guy at the end. And then we always have a character where they are presented as the best person ever, and every time the best person ever is the bad guy in the end. So there's nothing unexpected about these books. In the beginning, when I started reading Frida McFadden, this was all I craved for, a good plot twist, and I'm not getting them anymore. I will try to read The Intruder, which comes out in September, and I wanted to vlog the experience because I'm very mad that I didn't get to vlog reading Tenant because I had many things to say, and now I think some time has passed and I don't remember every single detail, so it's not a good time for it. But for The Intruder, I will do it. Also, she announced a new book called Dear Debbie coming out in January. So excited. Anyway, then I read My Friends by Fredrik Backman, and it was one of my favorite books of all time. It was very heartwarming. Fredrik has a way of writing things that I feel like I have been cursed. Someone really doesn't want me to be back on YouTube. Someone is very threatened by my presence in this very industry. And anyway, I had someone call me and I had to pause filming. And then when I came back, I started filming the rest of the video and I realized that I hadn't connected my mic. And then I connected my mic. I started refilming the second part of the video. And in the end of the refilming, I realized that yes, I had connected the mic, but I had left it on my desk and not on me. So I'm refilming for the third time. Anyway, I will not panic. My demons will not get to me. Anyway, where was I? The next book that I have read is My Friends by Fredrik Backman, and it was very beautifully written. I'm very lucky to be living in the same timeline as Fredrik Backman because every sentence of his is like my magic spell, and it does something to me. And he is very good at writing teenage and young adult characters because every time a young adult or a teenager of his says something in a situation, what they say is exactly what I would imagine a teenager saying it. It's not always the deepest thing that they say, but it hits right in the heart every time. He's very good at words, By now, I have read 3 books of his. I have read Anxious People, A Man Called Uwe, and My Friends. And I have Bear Town to read in my bookshelf, and I will be buddy reading it with a friend. I'm very excited, and it will happen soon. Next up, I read Atmosphere by Taylor Jenkins Reid. This is actually the newest release by one of my favorite authors, and it was very enjoyable. It was a solid read. It wasn't my favorite Taylor Jenkins Reid book by any means. I really liked the story. I liked the romance, but I think this book had potential to be even better if only Taylor explored the relationship that Jane, main character, had with her sister, because her sister was a menace. Every time her sister showed up in a page, I was like, boo, tomato, tomato. I think that I was very mad at her sister, and I wanted to say many things to her, and Jane never did. This is what I think this book was lacking, the development of the main character, because Jane was the same person in the end as she was in the beginning of the book when it comes to dealing with family issues. But it's okay. Not everyone likes dealing with family members, but okay. It was a solid read. And I read somewhere that this is being adapted into a movie, and in classic Taylor Jenkins Reid fashion, there are no news about the adaptation, as it happened with every single one of her books. And the last book that I read was Family of Liars, which is the prequel to We Were Liars. And I didn't have any interest in reading this book, but I watched the TV show that came out in June, and it kind of rekindled my interest for the story. And I did read it, and I was very disappointed with it. I felt like it added nothing to the story. I didn't like where it went, and I wish this book didn't exist. And E. Lockhart is coming out with another book later this year, and this will be focused on a different family, and the events will be taking place at the same time as the events of We Were Liars. So maybe I will pick it up just because they read very quickly. These are all the books that I read. They are only 7 or 8, I'm not sure, but it's okay. I will give me a pat on the back. Hopefully I will be reading many more books for the months to come. So anyway, now that we have discussed the books that I've read, let's discuss the books that I have written. Okay, thank you very much for watching this video. I got you. But the truth is, I have written something, and I cannot believe that I will be announcing it in this very video for the 3rd time. So I am happy to announce that I am the author of the very first invisible 24 karat Liboo book. Yes, this is my very first Liboo book, and I have worked very hard on this Liboo book, and I hope that you will enjoy it as much as I did. To my understanding, this is the very first ever Liboo book in history of time. No one has ever created a Liboo book, let alone an invisible 24 karat Liboo book. This is actually being published by the same publishing house that published A Handbook for Mortals. This is actually coming out on February 31st, 2026. I've always wanted a winter release for my very first Liboo book. You can find all the different links for pre-order down in the comments. And if you support my Liboo book, I will be creating more Liboo books for you. So please do it. Anyway, the truth is I haven't been writing anything because of everything that happened the last few months, but I also had to deal with my inner saboteur saying I'm not good enough, that my writing is bad, and what I wrote was bad, it was trash. And lately, I have been thinking a lot about that, and I have decided that I am doing it for me, even if it's bad. So what? It will only get better the more that I write. So I have decided to push myself to make a writing schedule now that my master's is off the table, and I have my friends for accountability. We will be writing together, and we'll shame each other if we do not succeed with our goals, with our writing goals. And hopefully I will have writing updates soon. I will also be attending the creative writing seminar that I used to take in the past, where we exchange stories and we make comments about each other's stories and we discuss them. I think it will help me a lot at this moment. Hopefully I will just shut up and write in August, so I have my story ready to be sent in September. If you have reached this part of the video, thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate your time and support. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Please subscribe to my channel so you can get notified about when I post new videos. And I will see you in the next video next week. Bye!